But let's switch gears for a moment, because joining us now, Senate Finance Committee member Marsha Blackburn. Senator Blackburn, always great to talk to you, but especially great to have you on the Big Money Show with us. Let me start with this. President Biden taking aim at Republicans for adding to the national debt. Listen to this. We'll react on the other side.
Let's be crystal clear about what's happening. If you add up the proposals of Republican friends, my Republican friends have offered just so far, what they've offered these now, it would add more than $3 trillion to the debt over 10 years.
Senator Blackburn, I often talk about how President Biden speaks in technical truths. Technically speaking, over 10 years, you may see an addition to the national debt. But what he doesn't tell, the other part of the story, is that if Democrats were in charge over the course of the 10 years, that number would be 5 times as great. Your thoughts?
You're exactly right about that. And he also does not want to tell you how much he has voted for adding to the national debt as over his 50 years of service. If you take just the years when you had Obama, Biden there in the White House, and you go back and you look, let's do it like this. From George Washington to George W. Bush, we had $10.6 trillion in debt. And then George Bush hands Barack Obama the key to the Oval Office, and Obama and Biden double the national debt. Trump adds to it. Biden goes on a $10 trillion spending spree after Trump leaves. He has added in 2 years, right at $5 trillion to the debt. Now, those are the numbers. You can go to the CBO website. You can go to the Treasury website. You can pull these numbers up and look at this. Democrats never get, they never stop wanting more of the taxpayer money.
Senator,
they have an insatiable appetite.
Senator, let me jump in here for a second. You're talking numbers.
Sure.
I've got a number for you. The president set to speak at 2 p.m. today, finally, on the balloon issue. To me, this is awfully late. I suspect it's going to be too little, but your reaction to what the president might say, and what do you need to hear from him?
What the president needs to do is get himself to the Oval Office, stand behind the desk, and give an address to the American people and talk about what the Chinese Communist Party is trying to do. He needs to talk about the China spy balloon, yes, indeed, but he needs to explain himself. Why didn't he give the order to take it down when it was over the Aleutian Islands, before it came through Alaska, before it ever came into Idaho and Montana and Tennessee? How did they know that balloon was going to go out to the Atlantic Ocean where they would shoot it down? Why didn't they think, well, it might go into the Gulf, it might go back to the Pacific, it might go back to Canada? They refused to take an action because Joe Biden is weak. He is soft on China. The Chinese Communist Party knows this. The American people know this.
Senator,
and they don't trust what he says.
Let me ask you finally just another quick question. It was interesting. We got some credit card information from the New York Federal Reserve. They're talking about credit card debt hitting another all-time high, $986 billion. We've surpassed the previous record. And again, another $927 billion. It was back in the fourth quarter of 2019. How are you thinking about credit card debt, household debt, auto loan debt, mortgage loan debt, and how you can help your constituents?
And the people are swimming in debt because inflation is so high. And this is why you are seeing people that have delayed purchases, and now they're saying, we've got to buy a car, or we have to make these purchases for children. They have run through their savings from COVID, and inflation is just breaking the bank for them, because every time they fill up the grocery cart, every time they fill up the car, if they go to get diesel to put in the tractor to get a crop in the ground, they are paying sometimes 20, 30, 50, 100% more than they did last year.
It's a story of debt, and it's growing, and inflation is not shrinking fast enough. Senator, we got to leave it there. Thanks for being with us.